welcome to the Opposition Preview. So, hello everyone and welcome back to another Opposition Preview. The international break is over, real football returns, and for Norwich fans, I don't think that's particularly a good thing. But we have the Liam Manning derby coming up this weekend, and I have no other than Bristol City fan Jack Buchanan. Jack, how are you today, buddy?
Yeah, all good, thank you, mate. I'll be better on come 5 o'clock on Saturday if we manage to pick up 3 points.
Well, I think you'll have no struggles there with Norwich not being able to pick up even a point at home so far this season, and it shows no signs of changing. I think we'll touch on a common interest to begin with. Liam Manning was your head coach last season. Norwich have had an extremely slow start under him. Is this sort of what he was like at Bristol City as well?
Yeah, it was a weird sort of period when he came in at City. He came in sort of October, November time, 2023, off the back of Nigel Pearson being sacked, which kind of went against what a lot of fans wanted at the time, I think. So he almost started on the back foot. I mean, we drew 0-0 at Loftus Road in his first game in charge. And it was very much a like we want Nige back. This isn't what we're after. But it kind of progressed a little bit. We had a bit of a rocky spell until probably March that season. Like it took him sort of 6 months to properly bed in. And admittedly, we didn't have a great squad at that point either. There were a lot of new players. We'd signed Ross McCrory in the summer, and he hadn't managed to play yet. And he's gone on to be like a really, really crucial player for us. He had some sort of bone infection or something, I think. And it was some sort of weird freak injury that took him like 8 months to get over. It was really, really strange. So it was sort of extenuating circumstances to begin with. We went on a decent run at the back end of that season. And then last season was kind of more of the same. We were a bit mediocre till Christmas. And then from sort of January, February onwards, especially around the time we played you guys at Ashton Gate last year, we were flying and obviously ended up in the top six.
Yeah, that is sort of the memory I have of Bristol City last season is sort of that second half of the season. You guys were excellent. You won a lot of games, but it wasn't sort of by big scoring margins. It was sort of your 2-1s and 1-0s. And having spoke to a few Bristol City fans in the summer, they have sort of let Norwich fans know their thoughts on Liam Manning's style of play being not as progressive, very sort of, I guess, boring in some sense.
Yeah, that was something he was accused of for all sort of 18, 19 months he was in charge down here, I think. It was, after a while, it got results, I'll give him that. But a few of our results at the back end of last season, it felt came from the players more going, right, let's win this because we're in a good position. More so sometimes than it did sort of the tactical nous. Like there's a lot of, I assume it's the same for you guys. I haven't actually managed to catch a Norwich game bar the derby last time out. But there's a lot of passing around the back. There's a lot of sideways passing. It doesn't feel very progressive, which compared to what we've got now under Gerard Struber, which is so fast and so sort of, right, let's get the ball and do something with it. It's like complete polar opposite. So yeah, I think we were very much frustrated with him at times, but after a while, fans grew to it because we were getting the results, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the issue of Norwich fans at the minute is we're seeing this sort of horseshoe style of football, very sideways and backwards, and not getting results, and it's causing a lot of frustration, and understandably so. But we will talk about Gerhard Struber because I am a big fan of his. He had some unbelievable sort of underlying numbers, not to be sort of a football tactico here, but some really good underlying numbers at FC Köln last season in the Bundesliga 2, helping them get promoted. And then comes to Bristol City and his sort of first 5 games in charge, I was super impressed. You beat Sheffield United 4-1 opening day of the season. You beat Hull 4-2 and then Sheffield Wednesday 3-0. It must be so exciting to watch Bristol City now.
Yeah, though that first 5, 6 games was, I think it was five, wasn't it, before we lost to Oxford in the league. We're really, really excited, and we had some really strong performances in there. Obviously, now we're 4 without a win, 2 home losses in that time as well, which have been very, very frustrating. But some good performances in those 4 as well. The draw with Preston probably should have been a win. Anis Mehmeti missing a couple of sitters. Obviously scored at Carrow Road last year. And the draw with Ipswich, I don't know if you've seen it on the telly, but it definitely was not a penalty
Yeah, it wasn't
on
a pen.
on
Never.
Tuber Akpom. So that was a bit frustrating as well.
Yeah, no, understandably so. I think, having looked back at your sort of last four games, you haven't won like you say. You picked up draws against Ipswich, which I guess on face value that's a very good point. Like you say, it was never a pen. Having seen it, it was never a pen. But obviously there is an injury crisis going on at Bristol City, similar to Norwich as well. It seems like your midfield area has been massively hit. Do you think that's like sort of contributed to sort of the poor results in your last four games?
Yeah, definitely. I think you take Jason Knight out the team, sort of the last 15 minutes or so, I think it was at Preston when he went off injured. He hadn't not been on the pitch for us since April 2024 before he went off that day. Like he literally played every minute last season in obviously what was the best season in the club's history in about 17 years, I think. So quite a long period there. And he was a key cog in that. And it looks like he's already been out for 3 weeks come Saturday. And it looks like he's got another 6 to 8 to go, which is a huge blow for us because that's obviously what nearly a quarter of the season gone by the time he comes back. Um, well, quarter of the season missed, I should say. So that's a big blow. Max Bird as well is an excellent player. Joe Williams, we haven't seen him since the playoff semi-final. He rattled the crossbar in the first leg to put us 1-0 up and then went down injured about 5 minutes later, and we've not seen him since. So that's been a bit frustrating. It doesn't look like he's going to be back till January. Thankfully, Adam Randall's okay. He's the only professional, or well, senior midfielder that we've got that's fit at the moment. Zach Viner's done okay to step into that role, to be fair, the last two games, but it's not what you really want, is it, going into a game?
No, absolutely. As a Norwich fan, where we've suffered with having three first team left backs, all of them out injured all at the same time. It's been quite a nightmare to sort of, I guess, manage it. And I do sort of feel somewhat sympathetic towards Liam Manning when it comes to choosing the team, because we've seen Jose Cordoba, a centre back at left back, we've seen Kellen Fisher, a right back at left back most recently, and it's been sort of all over the shop. And I think if you saw the derby against Ipswich before the international break, you'd sort of see that it is sort of just very chaotic in terms of Norwich at the minute. But what players should Norwich really look out for in a Bristol City team? Because for me, there's sort of one name that always really stands out. You did bring him up earlier, Anis Mehmeti, ex-Norwich youth product as well. He's hitting the numbers this season. I think it's 4 goals, three assists already.
Yeah, he's been flying. It's been interesting because he's been here 2.5 years now. And I think until this season, and to be fair, parts of last year, I think he was our top scorer actually. I think he got 12 goals last year. But really went off the boil in the second half. Like I don't think he might have scored one after February. So he was flying. He was right up there with Borja Signs, who at the time was doing very similar things. And then just kind of went off the boil, was in and out of the team a lot. My dog clearly agrees as well. I don't know if you can hear that, but yeah, he's a hell of a player. He's finally found that consistency, I think, this season. He stepped up in some big moments. And obviously, we went on to lose the game against Oxford. But when we were 2-0 down, he scored an absolute banger to get us back in the game, like proper goal of the season contender. And he's really capable of producing those moments of magic from absolutely nothing, which is crucial in a championship team because there are so many games where you just need that one player to turn the game on its head, and all of a sudden you're in the lead or you found an equaliser.
Yeah, no, spot on. I think he's definitely a player that sort of holds that quality. Having watched him many a time over the last sort of few seasons when he's been at Bristol City, even scoring against us last season, scored a very very nice goal. He's sort of got a very good catalogue of goals as well. Anis Mehmeti, and he's a player that I would have absolutely loved at Norwich as a Borja Science replacement, but. Yeah, no, he's excellent. Like you say, is there anyone else from a Bristol City perspective that Norwich should be sort of fearful of?
I think Emil Reese is definitely up there. You know, he's knocked around the championship for however long with Preston, scoring ample goals. He's hit the ground running this season. 4 goals so far from 9 games, which is well 8.5 games. He only played half at Derby because he went down injured. But yeah, he's been really good. It took him a little while. He didn't score till his fourth game. Then he got a brace against Hull. I think he got one against Sheffield Wednesday and then one in our last game against QPR as well. So he's been kind of doing what you'd expect him to do, I guess, really for his sort of standard. He's proven championship goal scorer, which is nice. We've not had one of those for a few years. So yeah, he's definitely up there. Adam Randall, although not much of a threat going forwards, is an incredible midfielder. He's done really well to kind of make up the numbers almost in terms of that having to almost play two roles in the middle of the park. But even when Jason Knight was fit as well, having those two in the middle, it felt like we never lost a tackle sometimes.
Yeah, no, I do think you've got sort of a very robust squad in terms of just brute Championship players that know the league very, very well, and it works, and it worked last season. I'm just interested to see under Gerhard Struber, is the expectation the same as finishing in the top six as last season?
Expectation, maybe not. I think there's a lot more hope that we will do so. I think if you'd asked most City fans last season, we'd have all been happy with sort of somewhere between 10th and 7th. Like, I think that would have been considered a successful season. I think what we got was definitely an overachievement. When you look at our squad and when you look at probably about two-thirds of our season, to be fair, it probably leveled out to be about 11th, really. And let's also remember it was a fairly weak championship, I think, last season, considering like the last sort of 5, 6 years, the points tallies were a lot lower, bar Leeds and Burnley, who I think basically just took points off everyone else. So everyone else kind of dropped down a little bit. I think we ended up on 66 points to get in the playoffs, which is probably a lower tally than usual. But yeah, I'd say there's definitely a hope that we'll sneak in there again. Everyone that I've spoken to, Preston was the kind of the most notable one because they've already played Middlesbrough and Leicester at home, and they said they like a lot of their fans were thinking we're kind of nailed on for playoffs. Which, I mean, if that happens come May, I'll be buzzing as long as we don't get done 3-0 again.
Yeah, I think that's always the fear with playoffs. It is sort of if you are one of the smaller sides in the championship that do sneak in there, like you did last season, it's facing that big side and getting absolutely battered. We had the same happen the season before yours away at Leeds. We got absolutely just destroyed 4-0 at Elland Road, and it was a very, very painful watch. But going into Saturday, are there any Norwich players that you're fearful of? I can't imagine there's too many, but if there are any, well, yeah, are there any?
Josh Sargent always, I think, a bit like Mehmeti. I mean, I know he's got off the boil the last 4 or 5 games. He hasn't scored, but I think if he can turn it back on, it happened at the last international break, didn't it? When he's stopped scoring, so I'm a bit concerned he might start after this one. Um, he's a hell of a player. He's been with you guys for quite a while now as well. And he can score. He can score a lot, and he can score good goals as well. So he's definitely up there. I was writing an article earlier, and I can't remember his name now. The new midfielder you've got, Pele something.
Pelle Matson.
Yes, he's been pretty good from what I can read. Um, I know he got booked in the derby, which for me is always a good sign as a footballer. So yeah, I think those are the two key ones that I've kind of been looking at and going, okay, they might cause us a bit of trouble.
Yeah, I think those two are probably the only two that I can think of that will do any sort of attacking damage. Maybe one or two others, but there's not a handful. I'll be honest. It is slightly worrying. But going into Saturday, just to finish off here, what is your score prediction?
I mean, I wrote in my article I wrote earlier, I put 2-1 City, and I've said it on my own podcast as well, so I'm going to stick with that. But I think it's one of those we could do with a win because we got Southampton Tuesday night and then we got Blues um like a week on Saturday. So it's another 3 game week. We only got 2 points from the last 3 game week, so we could do with a good 6 or 7 or so here if we can wangle another win at Carrow Road, where we've got a decent-ish record over the last sort of few years.
Yeah, I think you haven't lost there since. Oh God, it's been a fair few years now, but yeah, you do have a good record from memory. But yeah, my score prediction for Saturday is very similar to yours. I've gone for a 1-0 Bristol City win. I'm really not confident with Norwich at the minute. So much is wrong on the pitch and off it. So yeah, just holding no faith at the minute. Wish it was still the international break going into the next few weeks, but hey, I can't win them all. But Jack, thank you very much for coming on Bleed Norwich this evening. It's been a pleasure having you on.
It's been lovely to come on, mate. It's always nice. I'm sure we'll have to do it again for the reverse fixture.
Absolutely. And you can go check out all of Jack's socials, his YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. All the links for that will be down in the description. So make sure you go check out his content and also go check out Bleed Norwich's content. All our links are in the description below. And go like and subscribe as well, please, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.